With that, let's get up to Atlanta. We're standing by at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. It's the National Football League presented by EA Sports. A few moments ago, it was Desmond Trufant of the Falcons making their way out of the tunnel to the delight of this sold-out crowd as his guys get set to do battle with the New Orleans Saints. Hello again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin along with Charles Davis. And, Charles, we take a look at this Falcons team as they enter play. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Saints, they come in with some fresh legs as they got the week off last week thanks to the early season bye.
And usually you hope your bye comes a little bit later in the year. But when you get a chance to get fresh legs back, you take that time and you run with it.
That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And here come the Saints for their opening drive. They'll be led out by their veteran quarterback out of North Carolina State. It's Phillip Rivers.
And coming off of an early season open week. And in this situation, what he told us when we sat down with him was he spent a lot of time working on fundamentals, kind of getting back to basics during that time, as opposed to having to worry about healing up or resting up. It was too early in the season. Get back to the basics, get his game going again.
Out of the backfield, that's complete to Kamara. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask.
Face mask. Defense.
So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground. Next thing you know, they'll march up another 15 against your squad.
Throwing Rivers. Josh Doxson's got it complete. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They establish the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
Here's Kamara trying to run for it. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks. If you make the stop there, maybe you hold them to 3 on this opening drive. They didn't get the stop.
Yeah, new set of downs now. Now you're worried about, just as you pointed out, not just giving up 3, possibly giving up 6. Let's see what they decide to do here because they've got to change up what they have been doing. It hasn't been working.
3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
Man open left side. It's Williams. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. On 2nd down, Kamara. 8 yards on the ground there, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 2.
I thought that was a good call. Passing situation on second down. They hit him with the draw instead and pick up nice yardage.
Yeah, because the draw, they're thinking pass when they see that initially defensively, right?
But you know, in today's NFL, most of the time on second and long when it's a passing situation, pass rush.
And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. In for the score. And the Saints have taken the early lead. Well, that's how they envisioned it, get the football to start the game and score it.
And I don't know if that was scripted. Was it an audible? Or was it just a play call that they had in their pocket? No matter what, they had the right call on against the right defense, and they end up in the end zone.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 as he's taken down right at the 20. So here come the Falcons now to get the football for the first time. At a glance at the man under center at 6'5", he always demands attention.
And what I enjoyed in preparing for this game was talking not just with the coaching staff, but with him as well. And I found it interesting that the coaching staff sees him one way, and he sees himself an entirely different way.
Yeah, one thing he said he's always working on, we know he's not bad at this, but his footwork, always wants to improve that, and that's something he's going to focus on here.
And what was so funny, what the offensive coordinator say right off the top, he's got great footwork. Love his footwork. So this guy is never satisfied.
A glance at the starting unit. Julio Jones, a threat on the outside, of course.
Combines great athleticism, incredible speed, and a whole lot of toughness to be one of the better receivers in the NFL.
From the 22, here's 2nd and 8. Looking to throw on second down. Lawrence, but he can't get away forever, and down he goes. Sheldon Rankins, busting through to get him for a loss of 6. And, Charles, part of the reason they lost last week, they didn't have a single sack. Well, they changed that quickly.
But did they ever? And it was something they talked about with us extensively. They needed to get pressure. How were they going to get to the quarterback? Obviously, they schemed themselves into a great play, didn't they?
And that is incomplete. Now the throw on third down, knocked away and incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on third down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a 4th down decision.
Fielded at about the 28. A good return there, call it 13 yards. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. Rivers on 1st down. Caught left side, Williams. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
This time for Smith, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Deion Jones, the linebacker. And he'll return this ball across midfield to the 47-yard line.
Well, this is a defense that can confuse even the best of quarterbacks with their zone schemes. And here you've got a linebacker that's going to stay at home and just sit down in that zone. And this one basically comes right to him.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And down inside the 40 to about the 38. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early, because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
Well, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Back to throw. Lawrence to the sideline. Wow, what a catch. Doesn't get a lot out of it, but he is able to keep the feet in bounds. Just a 1-yard pickup on the play, and that'll make it 2nd down. Let's have a look at the defensive starters for New Orleans. And they've been excellent against the pass, the number 6 unit in the NFL.
Yeah, defending the pass hasn't been an issue for them. It's been stopping the run. And if they don't stop the run, they can't get back to their strength, which is guarding against the air attack.
They only got a yard out of that last completion. And that makes this 2nd and 9. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's got about 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 25.
It's really simple to say that they know their identity, that they are a passing team. But one of the reasons that they're so successful, they know how to mix in the run and make sure that they keep the defense off balance and not able to just simply say, let's go get the quarterback and disrupt things.
And he picks up the first down yardage as he takes it down to the 16. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive. Getting the sense, Charles, they're going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far is working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job.
He's going to be sacked back at the 23-yard line. Cameron Jordan in there to bring him down for a loss of 7.
It's interesting, partner, that most defenses try and guard the 35-yard line actively because they think the way kickers are nowadays, about a 52-yard field goal, they're kind of giving up points. But you get even deeper into territory, you get into the red zone, they're going to guard it even more, which means more pressure, more blitzing.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
When I watched that play, I thought about what my coaches had told me in the past, the biggest teaching point. Get your head around. Locate the football so you can make a play on it while it's in the air. That's exactly what he did there. That was nice.
Throwing on 3rd and long. Lawrence. And he is going to wind up losing yardage here, as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. They are, however, facing a 4th down situation. And the first play will be a field goal try. On the left hash, this from 48 yards. And Suckup will put this one right through. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So the scoring drive encompasses 9 plays, and the net result, 3 points.
Take your disappointment and put it aside. 9 plays. Yeah, they want to end up in the end zone with a touchdown. I get that. But sometimes those 9-play drives pay dividends later with another 9-play drive that culminates in a touchdown when they wear down a defense.
They begin on the ground with Kamara. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards. And it's 2nd and 2.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
And he'll get this only up to about the 35. He could muster only a yard there, and they'll be left with a 3rd and very short.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. What that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
That's about what you would expect since they're so efficient on picking up 3rd downs. In the top 5 in the NFL, it's all a mindset. And I'll guarantee you, it started in the offseason. 3rd down's important to them. They find a way to pick them up at a very good clip. Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on first down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a 2nd and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. Now a 2nd down throw for Rivers. Got a man over the middle. It's Williams. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. Catch number 4 for him on the afternoon, and it'll give him a first down.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Linval Joseph with a great push up front. He picks up the sack and a loss of 8.
What a nice read and play by the defensive tackle. Never bought the play-action fake. Went right for the quarterback and put him on the ground.
Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Oh, look at Thomas wide open. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Michael Thomas, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Saints add on to their lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, Those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
This is fielded at the goal line. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. Out comes Christian McCaffrey with the rest of the offense. And we check the rushing numbers so far here into Week 6, and the returns have been really good. Now, you're starting to hit that stride middle of the season toward the end. They're certainly hoping they can keep up this production.
They are, because one of the adages in the NFL is that defense travels and defense endures even in bad weather, right? You know what else does? A good running game. And people want that, especially as you head down the stretch. You may play outdoors in some nasty stuff.
And the Saints pressure gets him. Brought down for a sack. Cameron Jordan in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
And this is caught. A spectacular one-handed grab there. He got 29 yards that time.
That's an excellent read right there. Saw cover one. That means it's just a single high safety. So you know if you throw the ball to the outside part of the field, help is going to be a little bit late getting there. And he puts one out there for a big-time completion.
And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete. Well, let's see who this is on.
Intentional grounding, offense.
Clearly wasn't outside of the tackle box. There's your penalty.
And accompanying that penalty, a loss of down.
They lose the yardage, and, of course, they also lose the down on the grounding call, and it's quickly 2nd and long. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was trying to get that one into the hands of Christian McCaffrey, and it's 3rd down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but it's caught inside the 25. And he'll be down deep into New Orleans territory. A big play on 3rd down for the Falcons. 42 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
And he's going to be wrapped up and driven down.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. Got his man complete over the middle. That's more. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. They'll wind up with 17 on that one, but they're still a bit short here for 4th. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We're back to Atlanta right after this timeout. And we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
Sorry, we get slap happy up here sometimes. It's 1st and goal after they rip off a solid chunk of yardage in the ground game on a risky 4th down call. Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
The effort's always going to be there. Everyone's always going to try and make a catch, but underthrown balls, I think, are the toughest ones to come back and get, because usually your momentum's going in the opposite direction when you're trying to stop, break, and come back and get it.
Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. The Pro Bowl wideout Julio Jones, his intended receiver, and it's 3rd and short.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they did incompletions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the 1st down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
Watch him now, Barney.
On the ground, McCaffrey. And now the Saints are going to take a timeout on defense as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. So out comes a field goal team now for the second time here today. From the left hash, he'll have to cut this at a tight angle. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as they stop it prior to what will be an important fourth down. They converted once earlier on this opening drive, but now comes a big test. 4th and goal. Here we go with McCaffrey. And they are going to stop him on 4th and 1 as they'll wind up going backwards. McCaffrey turned away on 4th and goal. And the Saints able to come up with a goal line stand. And they've now made 2 trips to the red zone and still looking for their first touchdown.
Not able to punch it in, and if you're on defense, your confidence is sky high. Because mentally, you're saying, hey, you're in the red zone. We're thinking we're giving up 3. We just want to give up 6. In this case, they end up not giving up the touchdown at all. They've got to feel great about what they got done.
Rivers now on 2nd down. Out to the left, it's complete to Dodson. Falcons going to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. The Saints on 3rd down. A perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. Rivers to throw it, and that's caught by Smith. And he will have a first down at about the 21-yard line. He's got his first catch here before halftime, and it goes for a first down.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
First down, Rivers. He gets it to Thomas. And now running right through it. And a nice little quick spin move before he's dropped. And a pretty good gain. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout. As the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. They'll throw again. Rivers docks him with a grab over the middle. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 4, good enough to earn him yet another first down.
Hey, Rocket.
And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
It takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver because you've got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective.
Rivers now. This will be caught inside the 10. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half. 2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit them, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. To the air again here, Rivers. And it'll be intercepted. Picked off by Keanu Neal. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. 9 seconds to play, likely the final snap of the first half as it's 1st and 10. On first down, Lawrence. And that'll be incomplete with just 6 seconds left on the clock. After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. So we have reached halftime with the visiting Saints out on top. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks. A few teams starting to rise to the top as it's time to take you around the NFL here in Week 6. We'll start our tour out in the City of Angels, Los Angeles. And it's the Rams who are out in front as those teams approach halftime. Jared Goff has a touchdown pass. Next, we'll stay in the NFC West as we head up through Oregon and on to Seattle to check on the Seahawks. And they trail that one over the visiting Green Bay Packers.
An abbreviated halftime show as we get rolling to quarter 3.
Aaron Jones, over 100 yards on the afternoon thus far with a touchdown run as well.
Moore now to return. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. So out come the Falcons now. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take it ahead to the 28-yard line. Call it a gain of 4, and it'll leave them with a 3rd down and 6 to go. Operating from the gun, Lawrence. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off near the 34. And this one will be brought back to the 22. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask the equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you play in the back 7 on defense, that's part of your job, finding ways to take the ball away from the other team. Now
here's a pass on 1st down that's knocked away and incomplete. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. Throwing again, Rivers on 2nd and 10. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
They'll try to get the running game going with McCaffrey. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. That's good for 21 yards and a 1st down.
That outside handoff to the left, that play has to warm the heart of an offensive line coach because they controlled the left side where they were supposed to. They didn't allow anything to leak from the backside on the right side of the offensive line either. Well played.
Yeah, and it created a big run. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. And a nice gain of 21 yards. So there on that play, offensively, they ran the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So as a former DB, how tough is it to defend that?
It's really difficult because your natural inclination is to chase the receiver and maybe leave your zone. So you have to have discipline in order to talk to your other coverage guys and let him know that that receiver's crossing from your zone to the next zone. He's coming your way. Make sure you have him. And then when the ball is actually thrown, secure the tackle. When they're moving on crossing routes, if you miss a tackle, it usually results in a big play.
And Jones has it over the middle. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. 11 more on that one and another 1st down.
As a general rule, offensive linemen like to know where their quarterback's going to be when he's setting up to throw the football. But sometimes they just have to get on the run, get on the move. He was able to do that on that play and picks up a 1st down with a nice throw.
And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion.
Seeing that play and understand just how tough it is to cover tight ends, especially the ones running around the NFL nowadays, makes me glad I didn't make it in that league. I would have had a really difficult time.
But now you get to sit up here with me.
Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it? And what a really nice game right there on 1st down for them. Brings up a nice 2nd down for them.
All in all, no gain on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd.
Well, he strung it out as far as he could, and I like the fact that he kept his eyes downfield, but he finally ran out of time and room. But I'll take that over forcing it downfield and possibly having it intercepted.
3rd down, here's McCaffrey. And he will take it in for a Falcon touchdown. A great effort there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Falcons draw a bit closer. And there you go, nothing really too complex. Block, keep your assignments, let them run it in. They did it.
Fundamental football. Good blocking, beats good tackling on that play. End result, touchdown.
And he's not going to get in as a try for 2 comes up empty. So they will be unable to cut this to a field goal as the differential remains 5. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. That throw good for 4. It's second down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
That catch puts him over 70 yards receiving now as he's got a first down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
And he'll get this one up to about the 39 here. And credit the tackle to Derek Barnett.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down, a very solid gain on that play.
They run it again with Kamara. And this carry not as productive. He's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Devondre Campbell.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
On third down, Rivers. It's brought in by Dodson. And he's got a first down as he's up to the 48. That'll give him 60 yards receiving now as he's got a first down. So on that play, defense was in the zone. They ran a crossing route offensively, but the defense there, you got to be good with communication, don't you?
You certainly do, and it's not something that is really evident when you watch it on the screen. But everyone's talking, communicating, pointing, and it keeps you from chasing receivers because you have a specific zone you have to cover. When a receiver's in your zone and he crosses to another one, you got to let your guy know. They got a completion there, but I like the discipline they showed to stay in their proper areas and then make the tackle.
Running with Kamara, and he'll take this one down to about the 40. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, they've certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. It makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line. We'll give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed. Because you hit a guy on the run like that, you often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule. Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. They tried to throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. From the gun, Rivers. The open man is Smith. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the first. They just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it.
He's going to be sacked back at the 23-yard line. And it's never good to take a sack. You really don't want to take one down here in this part of the field down near the red zone.
Not at all, because you're already pretty much assured of a field goal. But you take a big sack, it could push you out of range, and that's why defenses get a little more aggressive in this situation. They're almost conceding.
And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. Phillip Rivers with his 3rd touchdown pass of the game. And the Saints now add 6 to their lead. A good, sustained drive there in this third quarter, capping it off with a touchdown to give them a nice 2-score advantage.
It was actually a fun one to watch, wasn't it? I mean, for me, seeing the mix of what they did, how they moved the ball downfield, very sharp, too. Each and every play seemed to be executed with great dispatch.
And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Throwing on first down, Lawrence. And this is going to be caught. He won the fight for the football. Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Falcons. They'll have the football, but trailing on the scoreboard as we get set to begin the fourth.
Gone! All right, now look at 56.
On first and 10, Lawrence. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, fourth quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take this one down to the 36. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with third and still 7 yards to go.
But that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun, and they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short game.
The left side completion to Jones. He's up now to 80 yards receiving in the ball game, and he's got a first down. And in a 2-score game, obviously, every play, every third down, like we saw there, magnified, big pickup.
It was a huge pickup. What they really want, though, is to not even get to third down. They've got to maximize time and conserve as much as possible.
And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down. On first down, Lawrence flushed out right. And he's got his star receiver. It's Jones for the Falcon touchdown. Julio Jones, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Falcons have cut it to within a score.
He was able to move around and found some vision to throw the football. And how about how he ended it? Boy, he had some zip on that throw.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have an arm like that. Results in the touchdown here. Great play offensively. Extra point up and good by Suckup. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. A drive that time of 6 plays. And the end result, an Atlanta touchdown. Here's Bosher to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. And now the Saints get set to trot out there. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go up and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you score points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height, sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
The first down throw here for Rivers. And this is going to be caught, but they'll say out of bounds. So it's incomplete.
Okay, I'm not quite sure how to judge that one. Maybe he didn't have enough legs underneath him. Mechanics might have been off. Maybe some fatigue. That one came up short.
Yeah, fourth quarter, maybe you do start to watch as the arm there, the leg's still there. This has been a tough game. And this time he's going backwards. So after the no gain on the last attempt, here they get him behind the line.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. I hate to surrender the football when you're nursing a slim lead, but they're going to have to punt it away. Trust that defense.
It's the right play at this stage of the game as well. You don't need to press it here because you do have that little bit of a cushion, and you count on your D to make it stand up.
Here are the Falcons as their offense heads back onto the field. Things are starting to move in the right direction. They get the touchdown last drive, then their defense gets them the football back.
Yeah, now they have a chance to get the lead if they can put something together here. And I'm eager to see how they decide.
And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
And his throw here's incomplete.
It is tough to complete passes against zone defenses. The windows that you see open, they shrink pretty rapidly. How about being able to hit a moving target against a zone before the next guy can get there and make a play on the ball?
Not easy for any quarterback, no matter the situation. And there, the defense won the battle. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Let's take it at around the 40. That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. Right now clinging to a 1-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays that are going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs. And the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
First down carry. It's Kamara. And tough sledding. He'll get maybe a yard. Stop short of the 35. And now, defensively, they're going to burn their first time out. Remember, they get an extra time built in coming up here shortly at the 2-minute warning. Second down, Rivers. It's caught on the right side. Williams. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 7 catches for him now, and this last one, a first down. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Saints add on to their lead.
Well, it'd be real easy to say that they are firmly in control right now, but I'm looking at your face and I'm thinking I've got to be careful with that.
Well, it's a 2-score game. You're inside at 2 minutes. I think you can breathe relatively easily now.
Yeah, you can, but still, you got to stay vigilant. Can't give up anything cheap and easy. That could put you in some jeopardy.
More now on the return. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And he's all the way up across the 40 and down at the 42-yard line. Great return.
There's no downplaying that we all knew that this was a critical possession, and to get a return like that to start things off, that's the spark that they needed. That's the spark they were looking for.
Throwing on first down, Lawrence. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
I'm not even sure I know who this guy is out there playing right now. This is very unlike him, one of the most accurate guys in the league. totally off his game right now.
I don't know. I was going to ask you what you pin it on, but defensively, that's caught inside the 20. And he'll be down deep into New Orleans territory. It's a big play there for Atlanta. 42 yards. So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on first down. Looking to throw. Lawrence. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Being chased out left. And he slings one that's incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have him looking at 3rd and 10. From the gun, Lawrence. And this is caught now for a late touchdown. So hold everything here. This one's not over yet. Okay, game on. Don't go anywhere yet. You got a 1-score game now. Probably going to rely on the onside kick coming up.
Yeah, they have to. It's not a high percentage play, but it's better than not having a chance at all.
And oh, it's blocked. The Falcons going to use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with just 70 seconds left to go in the game. 70 seconds remain. This will be an onside kick. And the Saints hands team able to rein this one in. Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
The Saints in victory formation now as they'll take the knee. So here we go, Charles, 3rd down. Any chance you're throwing?
I don't think so. I think you got to keep the clock rolling here.
Kneel down here from Rivers, and that should be it.
Yeah, it's fun to kneel down in front of your home crowd, but when you go on the road, that band of brothers attitude, right? Just us against the world and get it done. How happy are they?
I remember a coach at a previous stop telling me, you get a win on the road, doesn't matter the opponent, get out of there like you stole something. And they did in this one. His first punt, 45 yards. This looks good as well. Play clock down to 0, and this is not the way to start a drive.
Delay of game, offense.
That'll make it 1st and 15. But Charles, a 1-score game. Down to the end we went. They had one final play in that 1-score game. We all knew what was coming, the Hail Mary. They just couldn't get it done.
Wasn't exactly complicated, was it? We all knew, as you said, and go long and see if we can find someone open. They didn't get it done. Someone's happy. Someone is not.
So for the Saints, they move a step closer to 500 as their record improves to 2-3. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Meanwhile, for Atlanta, the loss here will move them back to 500 at 3-3. And they'll look to get back on the beam next week as they host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.
open up.